going to do this review tonight, but I guess it is what it is. Um, yeah, so we just finished, or I just finished, Blake Stone Aliens of Gold, which is the first episode in a ton of other episodes. I don't remember if I have only the first one. I have to check. I might have the first three, um, but we'll see how it goes. So how was the game? Honestly, it was actually more bearable once I figured out that there was a map. So let's look general. Also, keeping in mind that this is a game that was or came out um, almost 30 years ago. So this is a game that came out on December 3rd, 1993, and it runs on the Wolfenstein 3D engine. So basically, it's the same thing. However, it does have a bit of um, extra improvements. Most notably, a map, which I figured out after 30 years that there is one. It's on the status screen. You can actually see the map. So, having said that, that made it a lot easier going through the. But I didn't 100% any of the levels. If that was the case, I probably would still be here like 3 years later. So, um, yeah, from a general game perspective, yeah, it was fun. It's not the first time I've played it, although it's the first time I've actually completed it. I always used to get stuck at some point, just running around in circles, not knowing what to do, and then I would just leave and quit, which kind of almost happened with level two. The second level was insane. Although I'm assuming that there's a secret level because there are 10 floors and you only do nine. So I'm assuming that I missed a bunch of stuff. But having said that, it was enjoyable. I did like the enemies. The enemies were fun. Um, it's fun. Now, if you compare this to like an Apex or Wolfenstein, the new reboot, obviously it's much different. It's a lot slower. The weapons are slower, but it's still fun though. The fact that the enemies were pretty varied, especially towards the end. I didn't expect like a brand new alien at the end completely, but I made it. Um, and yeah, so that's it. I did actually like it. I did like the playthrough. I also enjoyed the the music in the background. I just took it out because it was like it got a little bit cumbersome at some point because I was trying to talk and there was the music in the background. But I did like the soundtrack. It was really good. I like the noises and the sounds, especially when some aliens die. There's one of them that just literally sounds. Ah, thanks, Zachary. Thank you for the bit. Really appreciate it. Um, the um, the there's one of them. It sounds like when you're hungry and your stomach goes. That's basically what it sounds like, which is insane. The hitbox is a little bit hit or miss, but it's okay. Once you figure it out how it works, it's actually not that bad. I will say though, maybe this is a problem with my controller and maybe not others. It's hard to bind the Xbox controller. It's easy for it to recognize that there's a joystick. That's not a problem. But the buttons are bound in a weird way that makes it difficult to play. So even if you want to rebind, you don't know what each button does because it doesn't tell you X, Y, and Z. It just tells you B1, B2, B3, B4, or B0 to B3. So that's a little bit weird. Um, so yeah, I that from that perspective, it's a little disappointing. But I played with the keyboard and it was fine. The sound was fine. I like the lore. I like the presentation. The fact that there was a story at the beginning. There's an outro where you can read a bit of a story. It is appreciated. It's pretty cool. Like you can actually hit the instructions. You can actually go up on on the main options page and click on story, and you can read the story, which I've done in the past. So that's cool. So the presentation is good. So you know the sounds are what you would expect from that period of time in the gaming industry for a first-person shooter. There's nothing that really comes out. There's a few moments where I was laughing and chuckling because the type of sounds, like when you die, it's hilarious. Um, the soundtrack is really good. The graphics are actually pretty good. I actually appreciated the textures. There's different textures, whereas Wolfenstein is very bland. Probably because it's an infancy of its engine. But as they figured out how to use it, they made it into a little bit more. Each section seems a little bit different, which is actually pretty cool. I found there was more variety from that perspective. So yeah, I would recommend it honestly. And if I remember correctly, I got this like for super cheap on GOG. It was like a couple of bucks. So I mean, for a couple of bucks, you have no reason not to try it. And these are the things back then. These games were really short because the way they would make money is usually, in most cases, I'm not saying this is the case for Blake Stone, but in most cases, this one would have been free, and then future episodes you would have to buy them. So the first one was shareware. So Doom started that way. Duke Nukem started that way. There's a bunch of games that start as a demo. You can play the first few levels, and then after that you have to pay. And that's basically what it is here. So I'm actually I like it. I think people should play it at least once. It's worth it. And yeah, I just want to say there's not much to say other than like I'm not going to go into the tech specs and everything of what the engine is. I mean, it's a 30-year-old game. It is very possible somebody that plays today would not like it. There's a sense of nostalgia for me personally, just because I played this back in the day. But there's not like I mean, somebody that's not attached to that nostalgia, they might find this sluggish. They might find this annoying, especially the fact that most games nowadays, it's go go go, fast pace. It's rare you have a game that's slower pace for a first person shooter. So, um, new games, new fans, or new players to the franchise might find at least the first one a little bit iffy. I'm gonna try and see if I can play future games. If I have them in my library, I don't think I do, to be honest. Um, Own games. I think I just have Blake Stone. I think. GOG.com. I have Planet Strike. So yeah, maybe I'll play that next time I play. Next time I play. Um, Retro Night in Canada. I want to see. Is that the only one I have? Planet Sky. Planet Strike. Sorry. I have Jill of the Jungle. Kathy Rain, which I still fucking love. I have Space Quest that I want to go through. I have Space Quest 1, 2, and 3. I have System Shock, the Enhanced Edition, the first one. And I have System Shock 2, which twice I bought it. And I installed it. I played it. And then I lost my saves. And I was like, fuck it. It crashed. And as my saves got corrupted for whatever reason. And I just didn't feel like going back and playing it. So yeah, so I might actually play that next. To be honest, Planet Strike. That looks pretty awesome. All right, guys. I know I haven't streamed that much today. It wasn't a long stream, but I just wanted to. I actually had an itch to finish Aliens of Gold, so it took me only an hour, which is actually pretty cool. And yeah, if based on how I recommend games now, or I don't really give a score anymore. Would I recommend this to a friend? If they're a fan of older games and they want to try something new, outside of Commander Keen, outside of, the original Duke Nukem platformer, like if they're fans of that era of gaming between 90 and 95, I think they should absolutely try it. It's a standard, not a standard, but it's a classic. in that period of time, or it has become a classic. There are some fans of Blake Stone. I know that one guy that I follow, I've been following for years, is Kilgore Trout. He's played Blake Stone before, and he's a fan of the series as well. So if you're a fan of that period of time of gaming, great. If you're somebody that's fast, that likes to play fast games and easy to you know speed through things and just get kills, this is not the game for you. Not saying that there's a lot of strategy to this game. You're just shooting things, but at the same time, it's a slower pace than what people are used to nowadays. So yeah. So having said that, I would recommend it personally, but it may not be everybody's cup of tea. All right, guys. Have an awesome Sunday. Have an awesome rest of the week, and I shall see you next time. The next time I stream, chances are I will be continuing with Crisis 2 Remastered. All right, guys. Have a good one. Ciao.